There, that'll work. Yeah. That's what we're bringing. We're coming with that. Okay, we're leading with this. This represents our ego. House of Taurus represents your what's valuable to you. And some people think of it as the financial house, but it's also like it's not only finances that are valuable. Some people care much more about relationships, people, children, health. Obviously, you can't even spend your finances if you're in bad health. Like, yeah. Anyway, so what is valuable to you and your valuables and what you are putting value on, that sort of thing. Now, this is the house of Gemini. So what you're creating mentally, verbally, that's the house of Cancer there. I don't always go through what all the houses are. So don't think I'm going to do it every time, but I'm just intuitive about it. That's what I'm doing today. Yeah. Okay. I know it's pretty late for some of you, like here in where I am, Pacific Coastal, it's 8:53, so almost 9 o'clock p.m. But of course, that's 3 hours difference to the Eastern, where a lot of you guys are watching from. So you're already likely into the next day here or after midnight. Okay, let's see. But it is the 3rd of August where I am. Oh boy. Okay. So that was the house of Cancer. So kind of where we live. Could be about your home, but could also be about what grounds you and kind of like where you feel safe and secure, right? Where's your safety and security? Now that's interesting because that's a justice card. That card says you'll feel safe when some justice is served. And look at this across from it. 6 of Swords, so moving out of troubled water. So I feel like finally, I think August brings us somebody getting rounded up in public. Wouldn't that be awesome? Looking like it's going to happen with that card there for this weary bunch of travelers on the truther front, on the truther road. Okay. So let's just start over here. So we've got the house of Aries, and it's being ruled by a very Aryan card. Very interesting. The Emperor. And even if you look at the Emperor, we've got the 2 ram's heads. And we liken this with Capricorn and like this card, kind of a Capricorn energy, because it's all about structure. And or a very structured individual, and or a king of sorts, or somebody who's a leader. And also Aries, okay, with the ram's head. So the card kind of combines Aries and Capricorn energy, very masculine. And it's interesting because we are coming up as, this represents us. So I feel like we're being very sure, you're very sure-footed if this is your archetype. And we're absolutely sure about what we want. Now, this is interesting. We're also really got our focus on Trump. You know, something we want to know about him, something we want. I think we want Trump. We're focused on Trump, and we really want him to step out and, arrest somebody. Yeah. Okay, or make a move. Okay, this feels like, because we're having this is our intimate relationship card, but it doesn't have to be intimate, like that kind of intimate. It could be just close relationships that are important in our life. And we are having a really close, important relationship with White Hat Alliance, or the idea of it, or the idea of what's going on, let's say in the background in the war, because not everybody's on board with the whole White Hat Alliance thing. Okay, but most people watching a channel like mine, they would at least be aware of that as a possibility and aware that there's a group of people, unraveling in the background and have been for some time, all the lies and deception that's been fed to us, and who's got some kind of handle on what we are calling the deep state governments, and maybe is even dismantling them in the background. That's certainly what we've been talking about for a really long time, and really hoping that's happening. And according to the cards, it has been happening. Okay, so all of these systems are coming down, and I feel like we are very focused, and our relationship with that group of people that Cliff likes to call the SOC, okay, and I like to call them the White Hat Alliance, we're absolutely focused on, and we're starting to get insistent on they do something. Right, because in my opinion, Trump's a brand at this point. I don't think we're seeing an actual person. I think the whole organization is running things. I don't think it's just Trump. Okay, so I'm not that kind of a believer. Like I trust that he was asked a long time ago to play his part here, and he's been doing it. Okay, so I'm not undervaluing what he brings. Absolutely not. But he's mostly a brand. They got doubles in place. And those doubles say their lines, right? It's not spontaneous. Even those, some of them are really good. A couple of those doubles are really good at seeming spontaneous. Okay, but I think everything's calculated that comes out of any politicians. But I'm thinking that the whole White Hat Alliance, part of it is to show us that right from the get-go, politics has been theater for the minions, theater for the people, keeping us busy, give them, what did they say? Give them, like what did the Romans say? Give them some circus and bread, and then basically keep the sheeples happy, and then we'll get to do whatever we want. I really think that's been going on. Okay, we've been seeing circus. Okay, and I feel like that's been exposed. It's being dismantled, in my opinion. And we, as a group, as a truther group who's receiving this reading, we are all watching, and we'll break up with the Alliance and the White Hats, okay, if they don't give us some real justice real soon here. And I think August is a month we're calling for. And I think we'll get it here with that Six of Swords. Within 6, that could be days, hours, days, but it could also be weeks, which would make it a little past August. But I think we're close to seeing that first arrest. I'm hoping that's days, like hours. I hope it's hours. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, we're starting to get, so the Emperor's a little bit like, right, and being demanding. She's really demanding too. So financially as well, we really want to see changes. Like, we don't want to just hear rumors. We don't want to, so it feels like we're bringing, the first 2 cards are insistent and judgmental even, and a little bit forceful. And that's us. So maybe we needed to get like that. You guys remember when I talk to the universe, I'm insistent. When I talk to the universe, I take that magician stance where I got one hand up, drawing from the universal knowing, and then my other hand's down, and I ask the universe to channel through me whatever it is I'm asking for. But I'm not just pussyfooting around, you know what I'm saying? I'm like demanding and insisting and speaking my truth loud and clear, because I'm part of that universe that brings the future into being. I'm creating it, and I'm manifesting it, and I'm part of it. So I'm not asking politely. Okay, I'm saying, hey, okay, I'm doing my work here, so let's see some results. Okay, universe, do your part. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we're all there. We're there. Like these 2 cards coming, 1 and then 2 there, that we're there, because she doesn't mess around either. And these are our personal cards. So we are insisting on seeing something happen. So I feel like people are getting really edgy. So August, edgy. There's an edginess already to it. Now we've got the Fool. Okay, so this is interesting. The Fool is in the third house of Gemini. So what we're manifesting verbally and what our intention is, what we're putting out. Now that's interesting that the Fool's there, because we're pretty insistent here in these first two cards, but then the Fool. Okay, so that's interesting. And the Fool's across from the Eight of Swords. Okay, wow, that's all of a sudden we chill out here. So at some point in August, like we come in hard here, and that could even be the end of this retrograde we're in, and then somehow we lighten up a little and have a little more of a sense of humor. Okay, so we don't stay in this mood here, thank goodness. We lighten up, have a little more of a sense of humor, and this one throws caution to the wind and trusts. Okay, so everybody's different, and when a person gets here, you'll probably notice at some point in the month, you do get to this place, and it's likely astrological or how things are affecting us, but it feels like we chill out. We come in hard and we're demanding, and then we kind of just chill out because we're like, you know what? So something must happen that leads us to go, okay, I trust again. And that's a good thing. So something must happen that brings us to that, or there's a shift in the energy where all of a sudden our trust comes back. And it really hasn't. There's been a real lack of trust in the whole community, really, for the last, I'd say, 6 months. 3 in particular, the last 3, but it's kind of been creeping in for at least 6 months. Yeah, people have been really questioning and demanding to know what the heck, because there's been some weird things happening and weird things coming out of Trump's mouth. And it's confusing. It's confusing. Okay, I personally feel in this trusting place. I mean, I wouldn't say I was all the way here. In a way, I always have this edge because I do tend to demand things from my own experience and demand to know things, and just I'm kind of like that. But thank goodness I already feel a bit here. And it'll be fun to get here if you're not here already, because this chills it out, brings back your humor and your curiosity. And that'll be good, because these guys have no humor or curiosity. Okay, so Eight of Swords is across. So what we're manifesting in the Eight. Something all of a sudden happens, and we realize it won't be long, and our patience comes back, I'd say by mid-month. So I don't know what that is, but there's a shift in mid-month, and you might notice that, oh, okay, we can do this. We can, even though we're not seeing everything we want to see just yet, all of a sudden we chill out and go, okay. And, the trusting energy will bring it a lot quicker. So that's the good thing, right? Now, this Justice here, this is interesting. So this is in our homes, in our deep hearts. And so we know what it is we want. We want somebody to pay, for somebody to be put in the spotlight, and actually even in the public eye, not just in the truther world, rounded up. We need somebody to be, held accountable. Just the beginning of seeing that these elites and these, this demonic cult and these governments that have been completely pillaging us are in fact being rounded up in the background, and something's going to be done about it. We need that. And I feel like we're going to get a glimpse of that. And the start of that happens in August. So that's, thank goodness. Okay, so here we've got the fifth house. So the fifth house, it's creative, and it's not so personal to us. It's more what's coming in. We've got the 10 of Cups here, which is the end of illusions. So this is our general population, our family members. We're going to be sought after to explain a lot of things to people, where we have a lot of people waking up. We've already seen it, but it's going to continue all through August. And we're going to be the gurus here to some family members and friends. And some of them might have been even the ones ridiculing us all through the last, 5-6 years. For some people, they've been awake for their whole life and they've been ridiculed, but in particular, the last 5 years. Okay, so here we've got sixth house, yep. And it's a number 6 card, so that's interesting. And that's in your daily routines and your workplace and what you do daily. Okay, so how are things affected? It's also your health house. Okay, now, so we did see some rumblings of another lockdown happening in China. Of course, they always make it in China, somewhere far away that you can't really check up on because of their media keeps really tight-lipped and whatever. And we know that you never get the truth out of their, you never get the truth out of any medias, by the way, other than some truther medias that we're the ones bringing the truth, but or as much as of it as we can, like we're trying to shed some light in this world. But I'm telling you, China's not the place to look for truth. You know what I mean? In any kind of media that's coming out of China, unfortunately. So they always choose to say, oh yeah, these lockdowns, these mysterious lockdowns are happening in China. That's always where it seems to start. Okay. And then showing us these pictures. You can be sure a lot of that's, I don't know. That's a psyop, in my opinion. I've been getting for a long time. There's that they're going to fail miserably if they try to bring on another pandemic. Okay. And I'm not seeing it here either. I'm just not seeing it. Okay, because this is the health card and that's the deep unconscious card. Okay, I'm just not seeing a pandemic. Like they might start or try to pull that off, but I just don't see them getting very far. So see that 6 of Cups there across from the Sun. Now the Sun is the 12th house, so it's a deep secret or known by your unconscious, and your unconscious wants to give you up. Kind of it wants to give you a secret. It wants to give you some knowledge. Okay. And the Sun across from the 6 of Cups. Well, messages from siblings. Watch your siblings, especially if you have siblings that were against truth and were, in the sheeple bunch, right? Were being, like super normies and whatever. All of my siblings were, for sure. Okay, but I have a feeling a lot of siblings, again, like it's sort of echoing what these 2 cards we're talking about here, we're going to be sought after again by friends, family, people close, siblings, workmates, that kind of thing. And they're going to be asking us because we seem to know more than they do. Okay, so there's the feeling in the card reading already that a lot of people are waking up. And in particular, we might find our children, if we have any, and youth or people in an age group that could be our children. Okay, because I know a lot of my viewing audience are 40 plus. 50s, 60s, 70s, like that. Okay, so children are grown-up children. Also, I find that my children have absolutely come around to seeing the truth. It took them quite a while, but I feel like, they're not in any denial anymore about it. They don't want to talk about it all the time, but they're not in denial. So we may find that our children, and in some people's cases, grandchildren, friends and family members. So waking up looks like a big thing that happens in August. Like, not everybody, but of course, a lot more than was last month anyway. And that's good news. Okay, now with that King of Wands there, that's in the 7th house I was talking about, we're in a relationship with, in a way, Trump white hat alliance, or the understanding of a group of people that are working for the behalf of, or the good, the betterment of humanity. But like, let's just say if there isn't that, we're all screwed. We are so messed. Okay, and I not ever get the feeling that that isn't true. That I do know in my soul. Okay, but it's just obviously my knowing, and I'm not trying to tell you what to know. Okay, but I feel, and the cards agree, it looks like, and they're echoing that, there is that group. Okay, so in a way, we're in a relationship with that belief. Okay, and I feel like, yeah, we're demanding. Okay, but this is an upstanding card, and I feel like Trump might get, or the person playing Trump, like the brand, and the White Hat Alliance might get a little more, like a little easier to work with after the retrograde. So the retrograde ends on the 7th. So by about the 10th, you're in pretty good form to feel like the retrograde has lifted. It takes a few days after the actual retrograde. So by about the 10th, 11th, things have really lifted energetically. And I feel like we're going to see that, that Trump we trust again. Like, because really the last few months, I don't know what they've been playing at and what kind of psyops, but it's been weird, right? It's been weird. Okay, but I feel like we'll get a little more solid footing there. Okay, so here we've got the 7 of Pentacles, and that's in the 8th house. So deep spiritual energies, how we're feeling spiritually. It's the house of Scorpio. This is the house of Libra. This is the Virgo. That's the Leo house, just in case you might have forgot which houses we're going through here. This is the house of Scorpio, and we've got the 7 of Pentacles there. So that's a patience and building card. It's like a lot of us have really taken down old value systems. But I feel like with this 7 of Pentacles, things are starting to build back up again. So it's like we might get some building blocks to recreate how things really work, because we thought they worked a certain way for years and years. Some of us, especially if you're involved in an organized religion, a lot of that feels like it's going to be dismantled when we realize that these organized religions at the very top of them were actually likely created to enslave us and help the elites do their dirty work, even like, using, for instance, Christianity at the very top level. So the Vatican, the popes, they were never good people, by the way. Look at the history of popes. Okay, the popes were political figures that were more about power and were very debauched, right? So popes, I don't know how all of a sudden they became supposedly, so they're like these sacred beings, sort of emulating Jesus, or like the God here on the earth plane, or somehow representing God on the earth plane, when in fact they came from pretty much oppressive, patriarchal scumbags who were raping and pillaging. Often had many mistresses, and many children by these popes. Like, I don't get how they all of a sudden became sort of pious in the eyes of humans. Like, how did we get fooled into that? Just look at the history of it. Like the whole Vatican and how it was set up. So if that's the head of your Catholic Church, then you got to wonder about what's going on in Catholicism. I mean, some of the values of it. So like on the surface, if you're following some of these values, you could be a good person. Okay, but you're still in a club that's infamous for pedophilia, debauchery, gluttony, all the things supposedly they're not supposed to be into. The Vatican is all of that, right? Hoarding knowledge and yeah, shopping humans around. Like it's a disgusting pit of thieves and snakes. That's the Vatican. And yeah, it's the head of your church. Like I was brought up Catholic, so I get to say this. Okay, you guys know I'm telling the truth. Yeah, it's disgusting. Even like nuns, whole bunch of pedophiles or victims to priests that are preying on them. Like it's disgusting what goes on. I knew somebody who worked in a nunnery. She said it was absolutely a Peyton place. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, we're not even going there anymore. Don't even get me started. Okay, so 7. I feel like we've unraveled a lot of what and that goes for across the board. Like, I'm not just trying to pick on Christians, okay, or Catholic, not even Christians, never mind. I'm sure there's super great Christians out there, for sure. But the head of your churches, okay, is what you got to look at. Okay, so for instance, if the head of the Protestant church in the UK, so the head of the English church in the UK, isn't that Protestant? I believe it is. Okay, is supposedly the royal family. Look at what we discovered about those guys. Total demonic Satanists. Oh, they're the head of your church. Well, isn't that interesting? And all the cardinals, they're a bunch of pedophiles. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm going to stop right there. My Scorpio moon is getting the better of me. Okay, so yeah, we're dismantling the old ways of thinking and realizing that spirituality is a pursuit that we have to discover individually and slowly, and we can put together the building blocks of truly what is our spiritual practice and create it ourselves, because we're our guru. We're the ones to look to first, like your intuition, soul voice. That's what you go to if you want to know spiritually what's going on. Okay, you don't go to somebody else who somebody said was a good person. Okay, we literally in our when I was growing up had a priest, and he was just one of the many walked out of the community by the cops because he was a pedophile, and he was so bad that they came in and took him right out of the church. Like, these are the people we're talking about leading us spiritually. Nobody leads you spiritually. You lead yourself, right? And I'm pretty much preaching to the choir, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so with that 7 of Pentacles there, so we're very discerning at this point, okay? And we're absolutely getting really firm about what it is we really want. We want to see changes. How do we want to see those changes? I feel like August is good in a way because we're really firming up what we're pretty sure isn't true. We're even starting to recreate spiritually what our real truth is. Some of us have already done that legwork, but a lot of people have gotten on that. And I feel like we're a long ways to having really recreated who we really are spiritually in the world. And with this dismantling of everything comes, a rebuilding and a restructuring. And this, we're kind of right in the middle of that. Okay, so what we truly value will really come out of it, and a more honest way of experiencing ourselves spiritually. That's what's going to come out of this. A more evolved way to experience being here in this physical body, this lifetime. So nothing could be more exciting, in my opinion, than that. Okay, so here we've got the 8 of Swords. It's across from this Fool card, and that's a philosophy. That's the house of Sag. So we're talking philosophical house. So it's the house of how are you feeling about your philosophies. Okay, this card's interesting because it kind of mirrors this one in a way. Both these cards are are waiting before this one's building and restructuring and waiting. There's a patience needed with this one because it's a timing card, and it says you've planted seeds and they're growing and you're going to get a crop. So you will have a new way to experience yourself spiritually. Okay, but it's still developing. And this card here talks about where you know something. Okay, swords is a knowing, but you're in denial of. Okay, and I feel like there's still a lot of people philosophically who are afraid to say how they think things are because they're still developing. They've dismantled what things were. So to put together and try to tell you what are they, what really did happen in history, what is really going on, we're at a loss still. So even though we might spiritually have some ideas about it and they're building, we're not ready to speak about that just yet because we're still developing. And maybe some of us aren't confident enough yet to say, okay, this is how it works. I feel that way, especially about like the shape of the earth. And how I have no idea really. I've dismantled that it's anything like NASA told us it was. So that means it's got to be different than what we were told in school, So now I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to feel my way through that. That's what this feels like. We're not ready. I'm not ready to definitively say how I feel about even outer space. Even when I talk about aliens and stuff, I'll always say, or other dimensional beings, like you guys know, I always do that, right? Okay, so this card says, yeah, we're still developing our true, feelings about how things are, but this is a good month to, get some headway there. Right. Okay. So this is brilliant here across from, we talked about this. I think this means we're going to have an arrest of some kind of justice is going to come. And that's exciting, actually. That's really exciting. Here we've got the Hermit. So we talked about this a little bit. We are that. I think we're all part of, on some level, we're connected to what I've been calling the Alliance. So more evolved beings. That's why we woke up sooner. That doesn't make us better, by the way, than the sheeple, but we might have lived more lifetimes, and therefore we can't be fooled. We won't be fooled anymore, right? We're more awake. That's all there is to it, right? So we're part of that. We might be, I feel like there's literally time travelers or some kind of entities that are from the future, but I feel like in a way we're really evolved souls and part of that group. Maybe we could even count ourselves as Alliance. We might be part of the Alliance, just part of that knowledge and knowing. Okay, because it's a body of knowledge and knowing, and there's levels of it, I'm sure, but I feel like we make up a part of it somehow. Because that card I don't think would come if we didn't. So I'm kind of thinking, yeah, we are meant to be leaders in a way. When the dust all settles, they're going to be looking at us, people that have been talking about it. Okay, so when the illusions really break for just regular folks, we're the ones they're looking for. Now the Sun card there, coming from the deep unconscious. Don't forget to play and be playful and have some laughs. Get out in the sun. Absolutely get out in the sun. Playfulness, have some social gatherings. After the retrograde is a better time to do it. But after the 10th kind of thing, 7th or 10th, it ends on the 7th, but you'll need a few days because it gets a little tricky right after a retrograde. It's still a little slippy. Things are a little weird. But it's a good month, it looks like, to have some social gatherings, get more social, reach out to people you haven't talked to for quite a while. You will be reached out to, it looks like, by the cards, the way they're looking. You're going to be sought after for your knowledge to some degree. So let us know in the comments how that goes throughout the month. But right in the middle here, so we've got the King of Pentacles, and that's a financial card. I really believe that we are on our way, even if you don't feel it yet. Okay, but start maybe speaking about it as if it's true, to being much more financially secure in the future and much more able to attract what we need. Okay, whatever that is. And that card tells me that. And then we'll need to be generous when that starts flowing for you. If it isn't already, like share it around. We're not the hoarders that the deep state dark cult were. We're not that energy. We're not going to build a world on hoarding wealth and lording it over others and using it as a power structure. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to share it around and be generous with it. And yeah, that's what I intend to do anyway. I'll tell you that. And I'm already doing it as much as I can. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching my Zodiac spread, and take care. Sending you all ravens. Bye-bye.
I just outed that we're sweethearts, Alan. I hope you're okay with that. Came all the way from Ireland to see me. Yeah.
I'm missing a note. I believe Coco or Malva, I have a special announcement to make also about a lovely young woman who's celebrating a birthday. So if you can send me that note somewhere, I'd like to do that shout out a little bit later into the show. So Janine, the equinox is just a couple of days away. It's actually the New Year's. Can we do a 7-card pull on what 2025 will bring?
Okay, this setup's kind of new, so let's.
Can you hear us okay, everyone? Okay.
So you want the 7-card spread?
Yeah. In the back, you can't hear?
You need it louder? How's that?
We'll try to get this a little bit closer as well. Okay.
How's that?
Better.
Oh, there we go. So Jean-Claude, you asked about the equinox?
That's correct.
Okay. Wow. So interesting, that justice card. The justice card right at the top, like, to me, it's like karmic justice. Somehow, this equinox time is like, it's almost like a universal karmic balancing time, if that makes any sense. Something's going to come into balance with the equinox on the earth plane. So it kind of goes bigger because it is a major arcana as the hidden influence. So something's coming into balance that's been long out of balance. And that, you know, there's a lot of things we can think of that could be about. The past card is hidden and devious, like with that King of Cups. You guys know I'm always talking about that King of Cups. Rarely he comes in as a good entity, at least not the way I read cards. I know a lot of readers don't see it that way, but I kind of get him a bit devious, okay? And so that's been in the past, so we're leaving that behind. And we've got the Strength card in the now. And actually, Strength cards, it's like a trophy card. It's like after a lot of really hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and hardship, it's that beautiful place you come to when you leave behind victimhood, leave behind the hardships, and come into that sense of grace. You start looking at, what did I learn from this, and how much stronger am I? Okay, and I feel like the human race might be there right now. Okay, so I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here.
Keep going.
But I feel like we could all be entering into a time when we can like take a breath, breathe a little, and realize how much work we did to get out of the devious kind of all of that mucky stuff that we've been looking into, deep diving on, finding out about. The near future, we've got the Knight of Cups. So we're moving onward with our hearts, almost like recognizing that the choices we make going forward, and Cliff kind of mentioned something about this, there's always a choice going forward. And I feel like this community, because of the place we got to with the Strength card, is going to make better choices. And I feel like we have the opportunity to change the outcome because of that. So changing the world outcome because we're all making better choices because we woke up to what was being done. And we're just not putting up with it anymore. We're not going to agree to these things being done anymore. We're not going to agree to children being abused the way they have been, all of the disgusting things these guys have been up to, all of the ways they trick us and fool us. I'm just not agreeing to that anymore. And I feel like that Knight of Cups is talking about us going forward with our heart chakras, with strength though, so not just, we're not just going in without boundaries, because we're coming at it from a place of strength. Moving forward, we're going to change the world that way. And it looks like it's karmic and just that this happens right now and that we all do this right now. Like, I feel like we all came together this lifetime even to get this done. Right? Even if it takes us our entire lifetime, we all decided to come here together we're getting this done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've got the King of Wands here. He's usually Trump or White Hat or Trump in the White Hats. There's that card and the Emperor's often my Trump in the White Hat card. And then there's a Two of Pentacles. So I feel like, I don't know if they're playing this out, because this guy, the King of Wands, can be a bit of an actor. I wonder if they're going to play out a scenario where Trump does a few things, and he might have already started doing it, that are a little bit tricky and not everybody agrees with them. Okay, and I feel like he's going to do two different things and give us almost two different choices. And depending on who's yelling about what, it's almost like we're being tested again by the alliance, maybe. And we all need to speak up. If something's being done by a government, even if we think they're a white hat alliance government, let's speak up and tell the truth about what we don't like or do like. Because going forward, it's not a time to just sit on our laurels, sit on our hands, or not say things when we feel something's out of balance. I feel like a test is coming, and we all need to just stay aware. And I know we'll pass the test with flying colors. I just know we will, but I don't know if it's entirely going to be, like, it feels like it's a bit of a play, or it's being played out for us, and even though sometimes people don't like it when they hear things like that, I feel like that's going to happen. So let's keep watching and notice everything out there, call it out if we don't like it, because I feel like the alliance is waiting to hear what is our choice going forward. And let's be loud and proud about what we're not going to put up with anymore and how we want things to go. And the outcome, so there's still some hard stuff to get through here with that Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands, everybody's tired, so don't forget to take some time off. Okay, because during the time when it feels like a test, we could really feel tired and a bit worn out there. Okay, and I'm going to pull two last cards to just kind of sum it up. That beautiful Queen of Wands. Yeah. And now we've got the King of Swords. So the King of Swords, so we've got the divine feminine and the divine masculine. We're all gonna, yeah. Yeah. So we've got the woo. So we need to stay in our woo, even if everything around us doesn't make sense. Stay in your personal knowing about what you now know is right or wrong. Even if your idols out there are doing crazy things, like just be aware of where you personally stand and what's okay with you. Don't move from your personal stance on what you believe in your heart to be right. That's what she does. The Queen of Wands, she's always integral to her personal knowing, checking in with her intuition. And then the King of Swords, he shares information, right? He's out there, he's like a Gemini man, he's an Aquarian man, or it could be a woman, of course, too, but somebody who uses their energy to share information in a fair, honest way. So I feel like we're being asked to stay in our personal integrity no matter what we see going on, because there could be some tricky times we're coming into. And we need to stay in our integrity and then also share what we know. Keep sharing it, however that is for you. It could just be talking to your neighbors, just talking to your family members, or sharing online, whatever's your comfort level. Yeah. So, yeah.
Very good. Thank you. If I could invite the tech crew up here. I keep losing the Wi-Fi connection on my laptop, so I can't control the screen as I would like. And I'd also like the card view to be moved a little bit, to focus a little bit more on the cards so that they're bigger for the audience members. While we wait for that, Janine, what was your highlight of yesterday?
Besides Alan Thompson. I don't know where he is over there, but yeah.
He's right there.
Yep. Highlights. Oh man, so many. Okay. Well, I was really excited about the speakers. I loved Cliff's presentation. It was fascinating. It started out, he lost me. He totally lost me. And then all of a sudden it started.
I think he lost sense. Andy Scheckman also.
Yeah, he did. I might have been having the same.
I think he referred to an acid trip.
Yeah, I might have been having the same flashbacks. But then all of a sudden, and this is what always happens when I listen, if I just keep listening, it all started to make sense, really good sense. Yeah, so that was cool. And then Andy's, it was like he's a rock star.
He was on fire.
Who told us that Andy was a rock star? I didn't know he was. Yeah, but yeah, those were highlights.
And this morning?
Well, I didn't see these two workshops, but I did hear about them. So while I was doing readings, people were telling me about what was happening, and I heard that Ashela's workshop was fantastic. Yeah. And I heard Sylvia's workshop was fantastic. Yeah. So some people actually told me that they felt a heart opening with Sylvia's, like their heart opened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that makes sense because I had a experience like that watching her once on a show. So yeah, she's a powerful woman. We have powerful, beautiful healers on board. So I don't know. That's why I'm starstruck. I'm starstruck with the whole team, the crew, everybody. Even the security guys. Yeah.
And you. Please do go and walk up to them and say thank you. They're doing a wonderful job, and Janine feels absolutely safe. And thank you, guys. I appreciate you very much. I wanted to address yesterday the fact that throughout my life, I had a few mentors help me along my path. And we were cutting the speech short yesterday. Janine was having trouble standing up, so we didn't go as long. Because we had done an event just before. And I neglected to thank some of those sponsors and those mentors that were here in the room yesterday. So I'd like to do that now, and then we'll get back to a few card readings. The first one, of course, was Cliff High. I believe he was my first guest on YouTube. And at the time, I was a nobody, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, you want to be on the show? I have these questions about COVID." And he says, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so he really helped me out. And of course, he had been helping me out, not indirectly, for the first 10 years before that. I was a big avid reader of his Alta reports. And like many of you, he did change my life. He did change the way I view our timeline. And so I have to say a big thank you to Cliff. I know he's affected a lot of you personally and collectively as well with all of his work. So a big thank you, Cliff, yesterday for that amazing keynote speech. Yes, thank you. The second person was Bix Weir. He was also established at the time, and I was a nobody. Where's Bix? There you go. And I don't know if you guys played the clip at lunch today, but I had prepared a meme. It was a show about nothing, and Bix was featured in that meme a couple of years ago. And he was so good to point out to his audience members that Beyond Mystic was going to be big in his view. And he said it was because I wasn't in a specific niche or a specific topic. It was in fact because I was inviting many different people from many different studies into one show. And he really saw that and understood what I was trying to do, because at the beginning, a lot of our competitors were telling me, "Oh, JC, just pick a lane. Talk about silver, talk about crypto. Don't talk about sex. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about anything else." And I'm like, "No, I want to talk about everything." And so Bix encouraged me to do exactly that, be who you are and invite all of these people. And he knew, I think he knew deep down that it was going to become as big as it is today. So a big thank you to you, Bix. Wonderful presentation also earlier. We heard part of it here as we were waiting in the back. I can't wait to go watch it on replay. And Amy, thank you so much also for sharing Bix with us and being the woman that you are. I really appreciate you both. Thank you. Last but not least also is Jay Widener. Believe it or not, I had been watching him for years. Of course, he was on Gaia TV, which at the time when it started was very interesting. It took a different curve a little later on in the career of that network. But Jay Widener was one of those also who has said yes to come on my show when I had, I don't know, maybe 500 subscribers. And I asked him a couple of weeks ago, "Why did you do that?" Like, I was just, who's this French guy calling from Ottawa? Like, you know what I mean? He was also very established, of course, and people love him. And I can't wait to see his keynote speech this evening. But I did ask him, "Why did you do that?" He says, "Well, you know, it's kind of weird, but like you, I had people in my life who gave me shots and who enabled me to reach higher heights in my career." He says, "I'm at an age now where I feel I need to do that with other people to pass it along." And that was part of the reason he gave me. The second reason was, apparently he knew somebody who was French, Jean-Claude, when he was young. And so he said, when I saw the French name coming up, Jean-Claude, I'm like, oh, it intrigued them. So there was something karmic about the French name and his love for the French community here in Canada, he explained to me. And so he said yes. And I was completely head over heels by his response, because at the time I was fascinated with all the Kubrick stuff. And Jay, of course, is one of the utmost expert on the subject matter. So having him on the show and revisiting some of those old movies and the decodes in the context of what's happening today with the Podesta files, the Epstein files, and all this stuff, it was absolutely amazing. And of course, the moon and what we're about to discover. So Jay, if you're in the room, I can't see you with all the lights. Thank you also for giving me a shot. Really appreciate it. So speaking of the Epstein file, Janine, a couple of weeks ago, you pulled cards on this when we had that specific date where all this information was supposed to come out. We saw a couple of truthers come out of the White House with binders, and there you go, the Epstein files were released, only for us to discover a couple of hours later, actually they weren't. They kind of didn't. And then there was this battle between Pam Bondi and the FBI and the Southern District as to why those files had been kept from them. And we had a bit of a kerfuffle for the last couple of weeks. And in those last couple of weeks, we're seeing emerge across the board, not just in the Trump haters, but also in the Trump supporters, some question as to what the hell is taking so long? Is it another play? Are we being fooled again? And we have to ask those questions. We really do. As Janine was saying here with the card pool, we still have choices to make, and we have to vote here how we move forward. So putting our attentions on this and our intention as to how we want to resolve these problems are very, very much important for each and every one of us. Our vote counts. It absolutely does matter. So I was reading some of the questions that people were asking earlier today in preparation for the show. A lot of people are still asking, are we being fooled? Is this coming out? Is this more delays? Is there something else that might turn the tables on this and change the channel, so to speak? Where are we on the Epstein files coming out, Janine?
Let's have a look.
No stone unturned. Hey, Mama 7. Yes, that's right.
Okay, that 3 of Swords looks like how we're feeling, because we kind of got ripped off. You know, when they were supposed to come out, everything was redacted. Wasn't that how it was?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is interesting. We've got the 8 of Wands as them themselves. Okay, so we know that they're out there in lots of different ways. But what we're trying to get is when they're publicly out there and known to be. So it's not what this community knows or what's shared on the back channels. It's like, what's everybody else seeing? We want everybody to see them, because then it's, you know, validated, right? And that 8 of Wands it's like they're out there in so many ways. There's so many ways you can actually see them. Like, so that's interesting that card came up. But the thing that's hurtful is that it isn't publicly known. So we still got that mainstream media and that publicly known thing where we're hitting the hurdle. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Pentacles. So this all looks planned. So when I got this before too, I don't think it was like could have been some muck-ups. Like Jean-Claude and I looked at it and looked like there was some kind of holdup, but some of this was also planned. Like with those 2 8s, I feel like some of this is an anticipation plan as well. Yeah, so there's the 7 of Swords in the middle. So they're either using what's setting them back to their advantage, or that they believe they are, okay, or they had the whole thing planned, even to appear like there's a mess up. Mm-hmm. Because this all looks really arranged with that 7 of Swords. And the reason that might be is with that 8 of Wands here, I feel like if you think about it, what's the big trump card? I mean, what could end a lot of things? What could send a lot of people to jail? What could end Carney's being in Canada? Like if this all came out and he'd actually gone to the island 15 times or something, and all of these people it would out. That could be the thing that even those remote viewers were seeing, where these politicians were puking and freaking out. Could be the beginning of suicide weekend, or, you know, all these things we've been hearing. Okay, so it feels like maybe they also are using that, the idea that this is a thing that once they use it, they can't really use it. They can't use it again. I feel like it has to get rolled out with that 8 of Pentacles. Has to be rolled out just when it's at its peak, that it could be useful for them. So keeping that in mind. And now we've got, so truth will come out. Make sure that people can see that. Truth will come out with that Queen. The Queen of Wands says she's truth and integrity. Okay, now this is interesting because she's very woo. So I wonder if when it does officially get out there, it's this community that gets it first. Interested. Mm-hmm. Now we've got a surrender. Yeah, so surrender to, there's going to be a little more monkeying around. Okay, surrender to 5 of Swords. So 5s are setbacks, and sort of temporary glitches, but it's not major arcana. That's good news. So I feel like it is still coming, and they're using this so they get the best clout. And I also feel like, I'll just say this, that's the first time I've seen it. Maybe they're going to give the real information to a truther group or somebody less inclined to be mainstream. And that's who's actually going to break the real files. That's what that looks like.
Oh, that's interesting. You also mentioned there the thing about, thank you. Oh, yes, thank you. Let's look at timing. No, actually, before we do timing, I started the question with, how does that affect the presidency and the morale, seeing as you have to surrender here to a little bit more monkeying around? We're already seeing some of that morale be a little bit challenged in the last couple of weeks. Again, if you just follow social media, you'll see posts that you weren't seeing just a couple of weeks before. We're going to get into the JFK assassination file also, which is also somewhat delayed here in just a moment. So all of this is adding to frustration. So what does that do to the brand of the administration, who said on election night that their presidency would be defined by promises made, promises kept? And a lot of these promises were supposed to be achieved or done in the first week, or in some cases the first night after inauguration. So what does it do to the brand, and by extension the morale of the troops?
The troops, I like it. That's us. We're the troops. Okay. So we've got the Fool and the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles, all these people waiting. So there's still a lot of patience, actually. I feel like there's a lot of grumbling out there, but in truth and reality, I feel like a lot of us maybe even secretly knew they'd probably do this. I did for sure. Because it is a big move. It could change everything overnight, right? Okay, so there's still some pain. So far it's not looking like they've lost, everybody here. Maybe some people fell off. Okay. Now the past, let's make sure the past is a 5, so temporary setbacks. It keeps saying these are temporary, so that's good news, actually. If we saw the Hanged Man or a big major arcana card, you can be sure it'll be held up maybe for years. But these are temporary cards that can shift really quickly, so that's good to see, actually. We've got the Ace of Cups. I feel like there's still a lot of, because this is what are people seeing. You could even be seeing a lot of people coming over to this administration right now. So maybe people are grumbly about what's happening, like what Jean-Claude mentioned, but so far I feel like it's not necessarily, hurting the brand. But let's see how it goes, as if this continues for too long. Let's see. Yeah, so now we're starting to see. So depending on how long it goes on, we've got the 5 of Wands. There could be a lot of inner fighting between truthers, between people in the community. Again, it's a 5. Okay, so 5 more weeks maybe. Let's hope it's not weeks, but Wands can be days, weeks. Yeah, so depending on how long it goes, I feel like people are going to get bleary for sure. And people could inner fight, so I hope that doesn't happen in this community. But you could see communities, truther communities fighting each other. But the funny thing is, with that Ace of Cups, it feels like other people in the meantime, while this is building, are actually coming over to Trump. So he's gaining a different way, even though there's disruption. So I'm not getting it's a huge fail per se. I feel like people will still have some patience. There's going to be some inner fighting, but none of this looks huge. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune, the last card down, which is all of a sudden, while all of this is going on, other crazy stuff could take and sweep us up. That could be anything. We could be like, let me pull a couple clarifiers.
I was going to ask you, because you said they're waiting for the biggest impact. What event could transpire to bring about that biggest impact?
Yeah, it looks financial, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
We've got the 6 of Pentacles. So we got a pentacle describing, what that Wheel of Fortune might be talking about, pentacles being money. So things changing and moving around, but then the devil. Okay, so something about the markets and banking systems and things to do with money systems could get a little shaky with the devil. So they're okay now, okay, but then all of a sudden they're not okay with that devil card and the Wheel of Fortune. So they could suddenly, we could see some big issues there, which all of us, we've been watching for that for a really long time.
Well, Bix was alluding to it, so was Andy. There's something happening in the background that we don't yet understand, and it could manifest here very rapidly. And if you watch Andy Sheckman on his YouTube channel, little by little, and then suddenly really quickly, right? So we could be there. But you have that 5 at the bottom. Are we also looking at 5 weeks, 5 days, or 5 weeks for this event? Is that the same timeline, or do you want to do extra clarifiers?
I'll pull an extra clarifier. Okay. So that's a 3. It's 3 of Pentacles. So that could be days, weeks, months.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that feels like it depends on other things. So the 3 of Pentacles depends on everybody working together. So how fast or slow that goes has to do with everybody working together. So I feel like that's not something, it's within 3. That's how the cards would read it. And days, weeks, or months. But I feel like there's room for speeding it up or slowing it down. And I believe that's pretty much how the world works too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Janine. If you want to shuffle, the next question is going to be, again, judging from the list today, the RFK. Well, let's start with JFK. Let's do the JFK assassination. On that note, also, when President Trump signed that executive order on that same evening, I did contact Jay Widener and say, hey, first of all, if you haven't seen it, JFKX, Solving the Crime of the Century, go check it out, Jay Widener's documentary on the assassination. I asked him, Jay, if once this information is out, if he would do another show and to put it in context with his documentary, see if there's new information. And he said, yes, I'm very excited, but at the same time, we're waiting for the information to drop. So the posters are done. It's just a matter of waiting and see. So Janine, what's happening with that one? What's the delay there? Because originally in the executive order, I believe the administration had 15 days to come up with a plan on how to release the files. And then there was an extra 45 days to review that plan and then to put it into motion. But it appears that there might be some delays on top of those original timelines. What's going on?
So we've got another 5. So setbacks and delays for sure with that one. Then now we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So these 2 were in the last layout. So something in the meantime happening around the financial market. So managing all of these things, I guess. And it's something coming from a dysfunction. So 7 of Cups is like something that's been long dysfunctional. So that's, to me, that sounds like the markets. That sounds like the financial system. Okay, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me keep looking here. Now we got the Fool in the middle. Okay, so the thing that's holding it up, I guess I would say, is outside influences. It's almost like they're waiting for all of these other things or clearing the way while things happen. Okay, so, and managing when they drop things, right? So it feels really controlled to me when I look at the cards here. Again, another 5. So 5s, I think you're going to be waiting a while for that as well, unfortunately. But
Jay,
again,
I'll call you.
Again, it's not years, okay,
right.
Or maybe not even months. Let's hope it's not even months, because we've got the 5 of Cups. It's setbacks and, things that set them back. Okay, so here we've got, so unnecessary stress. So this was the 2 advice cards. These are advice. Don't unnecessary stress. You won't be waiting that long. That's what the universe says. So this 5 is temporary. So I feel like these are all things, and something must have just showed up on the horizon. I feel like I make excuses for that alliance, but it's like the universe is making an excuse for them.
On the horizon?
Yeah,
or
something.
in orbit?
We don't know.
I'll get to that next.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Something showed up, and they got to let it ride itself out. And so they kind of backburnered this. And I have a feeling, because we're in a kind of a military, I feel like there's still these military moves going on. And from what I've been told, it's like, it doesn't matter if it's unpopular, they got to do it a certain way. So that's what it looks like.
Calculated moves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like you to do another poll on both the Epstein list delay and the JFK assassination delay, and how that relates to the space alien file. If you listened to Cliff High's presentation yesterday, he was alluding to the fact that the administration, most administrations around the world, are dealing with an unknown factor right now that they might not understand. I think he was alluding to this ET component. If you look at some of his videos on his Substack in the last couple of weeks, he's also talking about how these 2 files in particular open up the whole line of information all the way to how we've been manipulated, how we're being farmed, how we're slaves. And this is essentially the last card, right? So we're bumping up now that magic gate, if you will, for this information and for humanity to wake up to what's really happening on the planet. Can we do a poll on the timing of that, on how that relates and what we need to know about it?
Yeah. Yikes. Okay, now that's interesting. The Ace of Wands is in the past. So did some of this already happen? And
Because you said, something around the corner, and I said in orbit. Did something just happen? And don't forget that when that second moon was orbiting the planet last year in October, you said there was an ET component here that had changed the game of how this was going to roll out after the election. Maybe this is what you're picking up again.
Okay, because we've got the Ace of Wands in the past. And so something already creatively happened that somehow answers your question. And it's got a big yes to it. So I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, and then here, the next thing that happens in the public eye. So now there's being really safe about. So something already happened and it felt spontaneous. So the thing about the Ace of Wands, it wasn't controlled. So that wasn't a Trump white hat alliance or deep state control. That was all on its own, which would make sense because it was a whole nother group. Remember? Mm-hmm. It was a whole other group that was sort of this mothership. And even though a lot of people said, okay, there's no such thing as motherships to me after I said it, but that was just the word that popped in my head. So I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it felt like a mothership was orbiting and people were mistaking it or purposely telling you it was that second moon situation. Okay, and it came in and it felt like it just spent a little bit of time and then left. And it's like they were monitoring and they might have even energetically did a few, I don't know what. They made some difference because the Ace of Wands is active. There's an activity to an Ace of Wands. It's got an energy pulse to it. So they didn't just come and look. That would have been the Ace of Swords, maybe.
Well, in fact, when you first pulled on it, you said something to the effect that they were here mostly as peacekeepers, but that something would happen and they would have to intervene and kind of get into the muck.
Mm-hmm. So they could have got into the muck. They could have even got involved in the war or firefight kind of energy. So I'll just say that. Now we've got the Knight of Pentacles, which is going forward carefully. So that feels like how they're going to roll that out is very carefully. Okay, and that's what they've been doing. And that's where we're sitting right now. The general population, it looks like the worry is that they're going to completely freak out. And that's why they've been managing this meanwhile, there's this hidden element where the ETs don't really care how they want to manage it. They're kind of got their own idea. That's kind of what it looks like.
Okay.
Okay. And now we've got the Six of Wands. So this is the next thing that happens. This is a victory. And it's a victory for humanity. Let's see. Let's clarify it with 2. Wow. Okay, so I feel like the ET component, like with that, we've got another wand card on the outcome, and it's a 6. I feel like there's going to be a component where they kind of take charge again, and it might be shocking, but they step in front of Alliance and White Hat and do their own thing, make their own show. I think they're going to show up and do it in a way that they step over everybody kind of blocking them. So how we find out might be fairly literal, like where you see them.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to do timing on that?
Wow. Okay. So King of Wands, when you ask timing, is a really significant fire sign. So Leo or Sag would be those two. The early one, Aries, is too youthful. So you'd have a Knight or a Page of Wands. If it was Aries, when you're talking timing. So fire sign month. And so in the month of, and then now we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So I'm going to say the time of Leo this year.
That ties in also with some of the Webbot data in terms of the timing. Fascinating. Okay, thank you for that, Janine. Heidi says, hopefully sooner than planned. Yes, okay, Heidi, thank you. And somebody's saying, hey, what's the coupon code for the online streaming pass? I believe the discount is already applied automatically at your cart on the Academy. So guys, yes, you still have a chance to join us this evening for the rest of the live stream and tomorrow, of course, and you'll have access to what was on demand from yesterday as well. But if for some reason you didn't have a coupon code, just email Sarah and she'll reimburse you. But I believe it's already discounted online automatically. Still having issues with the laptop, but I promised to acknowledge some of our sponsors for this weekend. So the first one you should see at the bottom of the screen there, Miles Franklin. I don't know if Andy's here, but a big thank you to you, Andy, for sponsoring the Q17 Lounge and for your rock star performance yesterday and being so nice to everyone and supporting me also along the years, especially after I was demonetized and censored on YouTube. You're a great help to me to be able to continue to do this work. So big thank you to you, Andy. And guys, go check him out. Get some silver and some gold while you still can. So thank you, Andy. Ken Schwartz also supposed to be in the room, C60. Little gummies. I've been taking those for a number of years now. I started on the oil. Now I'm doing the gummies. So thank you, Ken Schwartz, also for sponsoring, for having a booth. Guys, if you haven't visited his booth yet, please do so. Janine, I hear you're also trying the new C60 skincare.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I think it's, I don't know. What do you guys think?
You look like the female version of Benjamin Button. You're reverse aging, Janine. So guys, check out the skincare also on C60 Purple Power. And finally, of course, Dorothy. Where's Dorothy? Is she here? And Roger Clay, yes, from purebulk.com. That's where you find your pure sleep. Guys, if you're having trouble sleeping in all these crazy times, please do go check it out. If you use the coupon code there, I think it's pure wacky woo. You'll get 20% off. Really good discount. So big thank you to you, both of you, Dorothy and Roger. And they have amazing new products also coming down the pike. So make sure to visit their booth and see what's coming up there. There's a lot of good vitamins and supplements that you need to keep your body strong here to stay in the fight. And so hopefully you guys can make those connections with those two lovely people who made the trip all the way to Ottawa to support us. So thank you, purebulk.com. Janine, we have some birthday wishes. Let's see if we can change this. So, want to start with that one?
Okay, we've got Ellen Williams.
She's 80 years old. Is she here in the room? There you go. Happy birthday. by show of hands, is there somebody older than 80? Yes?
Yep.
How old are you? May I ask?
Yeah.
83. Wow.
My honey over here.
And your honey, Alan?
Yeah.
How old is Alan? Wow. You look very spry, sir, and your handshake is very strong. I wish to be the same as you at your age. Thank you. Also coming up, of course, our lovely Carla from Ascension organized her birthday this weekend. Carla, happy birthday. She's probably still at the booth, so please do go and wish her a happy birthday. And of course, very close to my heart, also a dear friend, long-term friend of mine as well, Jenny Constantine. Jenny, are you here? It's her birthday as well, today. So happy birthday, Jenny. Oh, she's doing readings. She's in the rooms. Okay, so we'll do that again.
Can I cut in and mention that it's Jean-Claude's birthday coming right up?
You caught me off guard on that one.
You weren't going to tell?
No. No, I wasn't. And now I'm wondering what's been planned behind my back. Sarah, what's going on? Okay. Okay, so just after this, Janine and I are going to be doing the first part of the photo shoot with you guys. And I understand that we've now moved that to the Q17 lounge as opposed to outside there to have a little bit more room for you guys to stand in line and to hopefully go through that as quickly as possible. I'm not sure if we're going to be standing up or if they're going to give us chairs again, just to make sure that Janine can stand or stand that whole hour with you guys to take the pictures. So give us maybe 5 minutes to recalibrate after this show. And so for those of you, I believe we're doing the VIP pass today and tomorrow at the same time, the Mystic Pass for all the pictures. So just look at your schedule and your pass, and we'll see for that after the show. Janine, do you want to do a last poll and maybe open it up to universe, what we need to know right now? And when I say we here in the community, the people here, the people supporting the show, the people watching online on X and on Rumble, what do we need to know about these changing times? This the fact that we're moving into a new yuga of time, we're moving into the age of Aquarius, and that is presenting not only a lot of change, but also a rapid rate of change. And for a lot of us, that's uncomfortable sometimes, but it is inevitable. And I wanted to say also, while you're pulling, a lot of people seem to think that this community is hell-bent on destruction. Actually, it's not, but that's how sometimes we are viewed. In fact, the destruction is happening on its own, right? So the infrastructures that we have now are built from an era of time that is no longer supported with the energies that are coming in now. So by default, they are going to crumble like that Tower card moment. So we have nothing to do with that. The Beyond Mystic community, in my view, are actually vessels of information to bring that esoteric information, the occulted knowledge that we are all seeking on a daily basis, and to traverse those Tower card moments so that we're there to assist in building the new. That's really what this community is all about. And so for those of you from the CIA who are here today just checking out the show, please write that in your report and just know that we are not your enemy. I wasn't sure I was going to say that, but anyways. So Janine, what do we need to know about this big change in our role, our collective and personal role in all of this?
Interesting, the emperor, but it's actually coming up as ourselves. Okay, so we're the authority. Okay, so stepping into your role as being the authority. And not to say we just know more than everybody or whatever, but at least take charge of what you feel you do know and take charge of what your intuition deeply tells you is the case. Because our whole lives, we've been told we're wrong to know something. We're wrong to know intuitively. We're wrong to take that as fact. Okay, I was told always, like the world according to Janine was the joke at my family table. because I'd come up with some scenario and I'd be talking about it at the dinner table, because I was always brave to say what I thought. And the scenario I'd say, no one believed. And then, of course, it all play out, right? But nobody ever gave me the kudos when it played out, actually.
Right.
It's really annoying. Okay, but we
It's
need
called intellectually dishonest.
yeah. We needed to be, like, now we need to step into our personal knowing and take that charge of that, and don't be loud and proud about it. Okay, like in your, just even if it's just inside yourself, because everybody's comfort level on how loud and proud they, I mean, I like to talk about things in coffee shops to complete strangers. That might not be, like, I almost got in a fisticuffs, on Commercial Drive doing that. So, I don't recommend it, right? I took on 3 people that were all dressed as women and talking about women's problems, who none of them were women. So I just had to mention that, yeah, I have a womb and I have something to say here. I actually have a womb and you guys don't. But anyway, like, you would have had to been there, because it was, wow, it got really heated. Okay. Yeah, I got ran right out of that place. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we got to do that. And the chariot. So the chariot's backing that one up. Now, the chariot does take risks. It's a... what?
They're laughing at Cliff High's comment in the chat.
Oh, he's coming out.
Said like a true pirate.
Okay. Anyway.
As long as he invites me fishing on his new floating RV, I don't mind him calling me a pirate. Thank you, Cliff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was a pirate. I think all of us might have been pirates in past lives or something, right? Something outside the system for sure. Now, the chariot is taking charge, and very similar to the emperor. So now you've got the authority, or something. We don't know everything, but we know in our hearts what we know. Okay, to take charge of that. And then the chariot, to be brave enough to actually talk about it when it feels safe and comfortable. But I mean, to some degree, I think it's time to just be out front with it, okay? Because we are we're taking the front seat on the way the world's going. The woo community, I believe, is the next, like, we're the leaders, I'm telling you, right?
We used to be going that way and becoming the black sheep of the family. And now what's happening is everybody else is coming our way.
Yep. And that's what these 2 cards look like, right? And they're both major arcanas, so that gives it some clout. Now, the past is a more meek card. So we used to be meek and milder and quieter voice. In fact, I used to always want to stay under the radar, like, believe it or not, in the younger years. And then I started getting louder and prouder, but I was under the radar. Actually, coming on with Jean-Claude got me to the height of my bossy boots or something. I don't know what.
Are you wearing boots?
No.
Okay.
Birkenstocks, of course. But yeah, hippie mom.
With shiny disco toes.
Yeah. But yeah, Jean-Claude really gave me, like you said, your audience gave you permission to be that intuitive, intelligent man that you are, of course. You gave me permission to be louder and prouder. And so you can blame some of my rants on that guy. Because it's like, actually a smart guy is listening to me and he thinks I might be right about some things. Like, it was awesome. It was very empowering, to meet Jean-Claude and be invited on his show. So yeah, anyway. So carrying on.
I love you, Janine.
I love you too, Jean-Claude. Yeah. So in the middle here, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So the 5 of Pentacles. So not everybody's caught up to us just yet. So we might be all loud and proud and being assertive, or we might start doing that. Not everybody's going to be okay with it. We're still going to get into some squabbles, okay? But I would put the blinders on maybe and just go forward. Don't explain to, like, stopping and explaining we might be past that point. I don't know. Looking at these cards, I feel like these things are moving fast with the Chariot. So things are moving so fast, we just got to get in the stream of it. Okay, so people might feel a little left behind, and some people won't want to follow, and that's okay, right? Just let them do their thing. You're doing your thing. And then the next thing is, all of a sudden you're going to look behind, and there's a whole youth group going to be right behind us. So I feel like all of a sudden we're going to notice the age group changes in the truther communities. Okay, and if you listen to my son, who really, he never watches my videos or anything, but he came to a lot of what we know now, and he tells me about it because he watched it on TikTok. Okay, so yeah, he's telling me stuff he thinks I don't know, and it's like, okay, sweetie. Wow.
Wow.
It's pretty funny, right? So we gotta just let them get there on their own time. But a big young component's coming up right behind us. So that's going to be interesting. So now we've got the King of Pentacles and the Fool. So the King of Pentacles and the Fool. What was your question again?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. How to sum that up?
What universe needed us to know
Oh,
about
right.
these big changes, rapid rate of change, our role personally and collectively.
Okay. So the King of Pentacles, so we're about to, and I don't mean tomorrow or anything, but in the coming years, I feel like the dynamic, like the idea of abundance changes. People's fear of it disappears. We attract it easier. It's already started. And I feel like the whole dynamic is going to shift where those that never had before will have. And the elites who dominated will have it taken away. I really believe that. So in however that sorts itself out energetically, we're going to need to learn to work with wealth and abundance, learn to share it, and use it as the energy it is. It's an exchange of energy. And I think Andy Sheckman was kind of talking a little bit about that, right? Where he learned the value of saving from a young age, and he learned that you basically got to game the system if you want to. Like we got to out an old system that's totally repressed all of us and stolen from us and our children and we have to take that back and then use it more with more accountability. And I feel like that King of Pentacles, we're going to be in the position of having and being the ones sharing. And we're going to use it differently. We're not, speaking for myself, not going to hoarding it, like that's what the deep state does. And using it in demonic ways, of course, we're not going to do that. So we're going to use it for the good of humanity, I believe. And I'm certainly trying to use any kind of abundance coming my way in a really generous and good way.
You're the most generous person I know.
And you're the most generous. Jean-Claude's the most generous person I know. So yeah, we got each other's back that way for sure. Yeah. But I think all of us are going to have a new experience with that. So we're going to have to let go of our fears around it and judgments around it and get ready for that.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Deserves an applaud. Thank you, Janine. Appreciate that. Hanukkah says,
Nhưng hiện tại Dương Hổ vẫn đi về phía Nam Kinh. Giờ y đã không phải là vì đánh Nam Kinh hay không, có thể đánh hạ Nam Kinh hay không nữa, mà là vì đi tìm binh hai độ còn lại, hợp lực giết ra khỏi vòng vây. Bằng không chỉ một độ của y, giờ đã người mệt ngựa mỏi, tên cạn lương hết, căn bản không đủ sức trốn về Giang Tây, hoặc công kích Chiết Giang với binh lực bố trí càng thêm nghiêm mật nữa. Hổ ca, Dịch Thần Phong giống to, nhưng bốn phía biển người cuồn cuộn, không biết Dương Hổ đã đánh đến chỗ nào rồi. Trước mắt tối sầm, thân mình lảo đảo, vai của y lại bị trường thương đâm trúng. Bên cạnh hai thân binh đã đi theo nhiều năm, liều mạng tiến về phía trước. Bọn họ vung ra 3 mũi thương đâm chết một người, theo sau là một tiếng hét thảm. Sau lưng của thị vệ bên trái đã bị một thanh trường thương đâm vào, thương rút ra, máu tươi lập tức chảy ồ ạt. Tên bên phải chỉ hơi thất thần thì 4-5 mũi thương trúc dài điền từ 4 phương 8 hướng luồn vào cơ thể y. Dịch Tần Phong giống to, cầm cây cương xông lên. Trên mã lại hí một tiếng mãnh liệt. Hai tên quân binh thừa cơ xông đến trước ngựa chém đứt chân ngựa. Trên mặt Dịch Tần Phong vừa có mồ hôi vừa có máu. Trong mơ hồ vừa mới đứng thẳng người lên thì thấy trước mặt có hai thanh cương đao đầy máu nghênh diện chém xuống. Phía sau đao phong sắc lẻm là hai khuôn mặt tràn đầy sát khí và hưng phấn. Y xuất quân phá vây, không ngừng ra lệnh. Quan minh kịch chiến xung quanh đã biết vị trí của y trong bạch y quân không thấp. Thủ cấp của y gần như đại diện cho vàng bạc có khối lượng tương đương, ai mà không hưng phấn. Tiếng hò hét, tiếng chém giết, tiếng binh khí va vào nhau, không trung tràn ngập mùi máu tươi, khiến người ta buồn nôn. Trên chiến trường rộng lớn, người như kiến, vừa nhỏ bé vừa vĩ đại. Nhỏ bé ở chỗ bất cứ lúc nào bọn họ cũng có thể bị trận chiến kịch liệt này biến thành một cuốn tử thi. Vĩ đại ở chỗ bất cứ lúc nào bọn họ cũng có thể quyết định sinh tử của người khác. Nào sợ đó là một tướng quân oai phong một cõi. Giết! Tiếng la giết ầm ầm rung động như thủy triều mãnh liệt xông vào hai tai của Dương Hổ. Y đã hết sức. Binh mã bị chia cắt thành từng mảnh nhỏ, bốn phía đều là những cặp mắt đỏ như máu, tiếng binh khí va nhau leng keng. Bên cạnh y chỉ còn lại không đến 200 người, hơn nữa đều là thân ai đấy đánh, căn bản không no được cho nhau. Dương Hổ buông mạnh thiết côn đập tên quan binh trước mặt đến người ngã ngựa đổ, không biết đây đã là binh khí thứ mấy mà y đoạt được rồi. Quan binh như che trời phủ đất gieo hò chiến đấu với bạch y quân. Đây hoàn toàn là hai quân chém giết lẫn nhau, không có chiêu thức phòng thủ, chỉ có bổ chém đâm thọc rồi lại bổ chém, rồi lại đâm thọc, đơn giản mà hữu hiệu. Đại thế đã mất rồi, đi tìm Lưu Thất Triệu Phong Tử, bằng không thì cải trang lén về Thái Hành Sơn đi. Một ngày nào đó ta sẽ đông sơn tái khởi. Dương Hổ tính toán cực nhanh, thúc đầu ngựa bắt đầu một mình xông ra ngoài. Trong cơn sóng cuồn cuộn dường như bị lưỡi đao chẻ ra một kẽ hở. Dương Hổ mệt đến mồ hôi ướt đẫm, đã sức cùng lực kiệt, nhưng thế lực của quan binh cũng đã giảm xuống nhanh chóng, vẫn không thể cả nổi y liều mạng tung hoành. Mấy tên tân binh bên cạnh muốn đuổi theo, nhưng vô số mũi trường thương và phi tiễn đang ngăn cản con đường đi của họ. Dương Hổ nhờ vào một thân võ công mạnh mẽ, đơn thương độc mã đánh ra ngoài, giơ cao thiết côn đã hơi cong vẹo, lúc cảm thấy không an toàn thì lại trách ngài không đủ cẩn thận. Làm quan ở Nam Kinh, lợi lộc nhiều, mà nhịn nhục thì cũng nhiều. Kỳ thực ở trong thiên hạ đâu đâu cũng vậy. Nếu như ở Kinh Sư chẳng phải cũng như nhau sao? Nghe nói tuần thành lượng sự của ngũ thành binh Mát Ti ở Kinh Sư đã đến tuổi già còn mắc phải bệnh phong hàn. Toàn là do làm quan bị ức hiếp quá nhiều, nghẹn tức mà ra. Y thật trầm giọng cười nói, trừ phi lăn lộn đến vị trí uy quốc công như người ta, trong thành Bắc Kinh đi tung hoành, bằng không dễ làm quan. Cần nhịn thì phải nhịn, cứ tùy bọn họ nói đi, ta không để trong lòng là được. Chú Đức An ho một tiếng lắc lắc đầu nói, ngoài thành Nam Kinh bao vây trùng trùng, ta thấy 3 lộ bạch y phỉ đến 1 lộ cũng không đến được thành Nam Kinh, có đến cũng là một đám chó rơi xuống nước. Cẩn thận chú ý, chỗ Giang Nam tuy không tiện thiết lập phong tỏa, nhưng phong tỏa truyền tin xung quanh Nam Kinh mà ta đã bố trí vừa hữu hiệu lại nhanh chóng. Hễ có phong hỏa nổi lên, lập tức đóng cổng thành chuẩn bị chiến đấu, báo cho một quan. Vâng, đại nhân đi thong thả, tiễn đại nhân. Quan thủ bị mỉm cười chắp tay. Lúc này, 2 tên tham mã từ dưới thành chạy huỳnh huỵch lên đầu thành. Vừa thấy chú Đức An và quan thủ bị, lập tức thi lễ nói, báo chủ tướng quân, quan tướng quân, tiền tuyến đại thắng. Chú Đức An lộ vẻ xúc động nói, rốt cuộc là như thế nào nói mọc. Một tên thám mã nói, bẩm tướng quân, Lưu Tất men theo sông đi xuống, gặp phải gió to ở Thái Bình, thuyền va chạm nhau lật úp, kẻ chết đuối dưới sông nhiều vô số kể. Tàn binh bại tướng của hắn trốn lên bờ, thảm bại ở Thái Thạch Cơ. Theo lời khai của tù binh mất được, trong loạn tiễn giết chết được 2 tên đầu sò Ngạn Danh và Lưu Thất. Lưu Huệ chỉ mang hơn 2.000 người men theo sông chạy trốn trở về, binh mã các lộ đang vây bắt. Chú Đức An vừa nghe liền cười to, lập tức mắt hồ sáng ngời hỏi, Dương Hổ đâu? Dương Hổ lên đường bị tập kích, không ngừng thoát khỏi quân ta ý đồ bắc tiến, nhưng y bị quân ta bao vây ở Ngõ Quán Hoa. Một mạch chạy trốn đến Cáp Mô, Bạch Y Phỉ đã bị chia cắt làm mấy mảnh. Trong đó có một lộ quân Phỉ ước chừng 7.000 người từ Ngõ Quán Hoa rời khỏi đại đội chạy trốn về hướng Nam. Khoảng chừng có thể vừa lúc gặp phải Hồ Quang, đại quân triều đình từ Giang Tây bắc tiến, quân sở bộ của Dương Hổ sụp đổ, bỏ chạy tứ tán. Bây giờ không rõ tung tích của Dương Hổ. Chú Đức An nghe đến thì nhiệt huyết sôi trào, lại hỏi, có tin tức của Triệu Phong Tử không? Vẫn chưa có, bọn chúng cách quá xa, bị đại quân của Uy Quốc Công ra chặn giữa đường, bây giờ còn đang loanh quanh ở bên Thái Hồ, cách quá xa, tin tức thắng bại của hai bên vẫn chưa truyền đến. Được, đi xuống đi, có bất kỳ tin tức gì thì phải báo cáo. Tâm tư chú Đức An trở nên phấn chấn hơn. Dương Hổ cũng đại bại rồi, nhưng tên thủ lĩnh phản loạn Dương Hổ này chưa chết, nhưng đó là công lao lớn bằng trời. Người tham quyền ám lợi như y ở trong quân Bắc Phương lâu như vậy, mà lại không thông hiểu thủ đoạn nịnh bợ, cũng không thích ứng với biểu hiện hung đúng hiện tại. Tuy rằng nhờ chiến công y được điều đến Nam Kinh, trở thành người có quân chức cao nhất trong những kẻ trấn thủ Nam Kinh, nhưng quan lớn trong thành Nam Kinh cũng nhiều, tùy tiện lấy ra một người cũng khiến y phải nở nụ cười. Nói liến thoáng, lấy tính cao ngạo của y quả thật là không thích hợp. Tuy nhiên, hiện tại cơ hội đã đến, nếu như có thể giết chết Dương Hổ, danh tiếng của mình sẽ truyền khắp thiên hạ. Nói không chừng thiên tử cũng sẽ tiếp kiến mình, thăng liền 3 cấp đậm. Giờ mình là phó đô chỉ huy sứ, lại tăng thêm 3 cấp nữa thì cho dù không tiến vào binh bộ cũng có thể trở thành quan lớn nơi biên cương, độc thủ một phương. Tiền đồ gấm vóc, quan to hậu lộc đang ở trước mắt, chỉ cần lấy đầu của Dương Hổ, tất cả đều dễ như trở bàn tay. Nghĩ đến đây, Chu Đức An đã nóng lòng, đỏ mắt, liếm liếm môi khô. Dương Hổ chạy tan tác vào khu vực Cáp Mô, cách nơi này không quá mấy mươi dặm đường. Lưu Thất đã chết, Lưu Huệ đã trốn trở về, Triệu Phong Tử lại ở tít Thái Hồ, thành Nam Kinh không còn mối nguy hiểm nào. Sau trận này, tất công lao sẽ ở trước mặt ta phải đi lùng bắt Dương Hổ. Y ho khan một tiếng, quan thủ bị, có mặt tướng. Đại quân của Dương Hổ đã tan tác, nhưng mà Dương Hổ vẫn chưa chết. Đây là mối đại họa trong lòng của triều đình. Bổn quan làm không yên, hắn chạy vào vùng Cáp Mô, liệu rằng chưa đi được xa. Bổn quan muốn dẫn một toán nhân mã tiến đến hiệp trợ bắt giặc. Ngươi nghiêm thủ cổng thành, đến đêm lúc cấm thành lập tức không được sai sót. Việc này đại nhân, chức trách của chúng ta là thủ thành diệt phỉ, bên ngoài đã có bố trí quân binh, chúng ta cái gì mà bên ngoài bên trong, gần trong gang tấc còn gọi là bên ngoài trong. Tùy cơ ứng biến, vốn là trách nhiệm của người chủ tướng thẩm binh. Dương Hổ chưa chết, hậu hoạn khôn cùng, người chớ có nhiều lời, chỉ cần thủ thành tốt, bổn quan chỉ dẫn 3.000 kỵ binh đi lùng bắt Dương Hổ, bất kể có tin tức hay không. Nội hôm nay sẽ về. Vâng. Quan thủ bị chắp tay, mắt nhìn chú Đức An vội vã đi xuống thành, lặng lẽ hừ một tiếng, nhỏ giọng mắng. Dương Hổ có mạnh, chung quy cũng chỉ có một người, muốn mất người không phái ta đi, sao cứ phải chủ tướng như ngươi xuất mã, còn mẹ đó, không phải là thăng liền 3 cấp sao, một phát ngã chết tên khốn kiếp người. Phương Gia Thôn, một thôn làng nhỏ non xanh nước biếc, trong một gian phòng nhỏ ló ra bên cạnh, phía sau cửa sổ chính là một con sông nhỏ trầm